right, so everybody in the family hated the bride. So much so that they were going to boycott their own nephew's wedding. So we have to check back in with Emily because last week she was telling us about this toxic bride who was basically pulling her nephew away from the family. And when I say like they were going to boycott, she told us there's going to be about 100 people who had RSVP'd yes that were going to be no shows at this wedding because that's how miserable this bride is. And of course, I actually this popped into my head a couple times over the weekend. Like, I wonder if anybody showed up at the wedding. All right, so Emily, welcome back to the Bert Show. Just go ahead if you can in like 60 seconds and kind of reset what was going on here with your nephew and his future bride.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
So my sister and brother-in-law were trying to help out with the wedding and pay for some things, but the bride kept changing her mind and making everything more expensive. And they finally put their foot down and said that this is what you're going to get. We're not doing anything more. And she got upset and uninvited them to the wedding.
That sounds super mature of her.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then the rest of the family was starting to rally around your sister and your brother-in-law because you all have seen how this relationship has taken a toll on your nephew, correct?
Yes. So we haven't had any contact with the groom at all. She's been intercepting all phone calls and texts and everything, and so we don't even know how he was doing before the wedding at all.
So here it comes. It's the day of the wedding, and you guys within the family, unbeknownst to him and her, were going to just not attend. And didn't somebody plan another event or something since people were going to be in town?
Yeah, so my mom wanted to entertain everyone because everyone was still coming for the wedding. But we decided that we were going to have a murder mystery party at the farm instead. So that's what we ended up doing.
So your mom, a.k.a. the groom's grandma.
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole fam.
Everybody.
Whole fam in on it. All right, so the weekend came and went. Emily, break it down for us. What happened?
Yeah, so, we discussed it beforehand because we really were struggling with not showing up and stuff, but we decided that we ourselves wouldn't be able to enjoy it knowing my sister and brother-in-law weren't invited. The bride actually hired security. They did show up.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
They actually, yeah, they would have been escorted out by the police. So knowing that, we all decided that we're just going to stay away from the drama, not get into it, and support our sister and brother-in-law and just have the murder mystery party. So my nephew and niece actually did end up going because my nephew was the best man. And he said that, so imagine this, so the venue that they had was 400 people max, and they were at max capacity.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was going to be a large wedding, and they said only about 150 people showed up.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was severely diminished.
The laugh.
So.
All right. So only 150 people. What was the reaction of the groom and the bride?
They were upset for sure because even some of the bridal party left early, like after the toast and stuff. You're kind of done after that. Some of the wedding party even left early, and the groom had texted his brother asking, where they went, and they're like, "Oh, we just couldn't do it anymore. We had to leave." And he never heard from them after that.
So was this a wake up call for your nephew, or has this just pitted your nephew against the family even more?
I hope it's a wake up call. Again, we haven't really talked to him. They left for their honeymoon right afterwards, so and we didn't really stick around for the weekend to try and talk to him if he showed up. But yeah, I don't know. No one's really talked to him, so we're not sure.
That's odd to me. Like, if y'all were in that situation and that many people did not show up, would you just kind of say, I'll deal with this after the honeymoon, or would you start making some phone calls? Because I would have to know what happened.
I would have started making phone calls, and the brother-in-law's parents actually ended up going, and they said that the best man wasn't even allowed to sign the marriage license, that they chose other people to do it. And they said that there just was a different vibe there. So they didn't even really have a good time. They didn't even have a reserved seat. They were like the last people to eat.
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like the response can't be that much of a surprise if you've had issues with so many people leading up to the wedding day, that in a weird way, I almost feel really bad for the bride. Like, what happened to her to make her this crazy bridezilla psycho? Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't just end up in crazy land.
Yeah, because I mean, a majority of the time, monsters aren't born, they're created. So it's like what happened in her life that got her to this point. But at the same time, that doesn't excuse the behavior.
Right.
It explains the behavior, but it doesn't excuse the behavior. So if you're a grown woman and you're acting like this, then you're gonna have to suck up and take the repercussions of your actions.
You got to do the work, right? Like, things happen to all of us. And
Yeah.
at some point, you have to do the work to heal. And this, to me, is a clear message that maybe some accountability should be taken on her part to figure out what's going on.
Or depending on the type of person it's just gonna make it worse.
That's true, too.
Because it can go one of two ways. Like, that could be a wake-up call to change your ways, or it can make you just even more defiant in who you are.
And now she'll really take the nephew from the family.
Are you guys settled? Like, are you happy with your decision?
We are.
Okay.
Because we met up with my sister afterwards, and they were just heartbroken over
Yeah.
this. Imagine being uninvited to your son's wedding.
Yeah, I hope for
that's
them they can like find some semblance of reconciliation.
And it doesn't end here, because now she's officially a part of the family. So it's not just the wedding that they've had to deal with. Now it's every holiday from here on out forever until they get divorced, maybe.
That seems, it might seem inevitable. Just serious. All right, well, thanks so much for the update, Emily. We appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good day.
Oh, by the way, the murder mystery party. Who did it?
I actually was the murderer.
Oh, you
The Bert Show.